On today's lecture, we're going to look at the effect of parameters on the parabola. So the parameters are A, P, and Q. So we saw yesterday on the pre-notes that we had a function f of x, the function negative x squared, f of x equaling x squared, h of x equaling negative x squared, g of x is equals to 4x squared, and 1 over r of x is equals to 1 over 2x squared. And then we use the same value of x for all the functions, and then we got 1 for this one, and then we got 1 negative 1, and then we got 1 and 4, and also 1 and 2. And then we concluded that the greater the value of a, the steeper the curve. And then when a is negative, the graph reflects in the x-axis, and the changing value of a has no impact on the y-axis, y-intercept. And then I asked you to draw the functions for so that you can get the idea on the steeper, and also on the changing value of a, and also on the reflection. So as you can see that this is the graph of let's start with x squared. So we see we have the graph of x squared, which is this one, and then we have the graph of 4x. So we see that this is the value of a here, and in this one the value of a is 1, here it's negative 1, here it's 4, here it's 1 over 2. So we see that with the graph of g of x, it's more steeper than the graph of x squared, and it's more steeper than the graph of 1 over 2. And then we see that this one, we have negative x squared, it is reflected about the x-axis, which means it's concave down. So we see that the arms are down, so it's reflected, it's a mirror of this one of x squared. So we have negative x squared, so it's a mirror of this positive x squared. So on today's lesson, we're gonna focus on the vertical shift, horizontal shift, and also the turning point. So on the graph, so we're gonna focus on this equation, y equaling x plus p squared plus q. So when we talk about the horizontal shift, we talk about the sideways movement, left, right. There's no change in the value of y, it's only the change in the value of x. So for example, when adding x increases the value, so the pattern of the answer shifts to the left by the amount added. So what we are saying here, it means if we have the function x, y equaling x plus 3, so we add the value to x, so the graph is gonna be shifted. This is the shifting value, the value added. So the graph is gonna shift 3 units to the left. See? And then when subtracting from x reduces its value, so the pattern shifts to the right by the amount subtracted. I meant to say subtracted here, by the amount subtracted. I made a typo, my apologies. So we're gonna use the same function here. So we have y is equals to x minus 3. So we subtracted the value 3, so the shifting is to the right, so we're gonna have 3 units right. Okay, and then now we're gonna look at the vertical shift. So the vertical shift is the movement up or down only. There's no change in the x coordinate, there's no change in the value of x. So let's take let's use also the previous examples. So we have y equaling x So let's say okay, let's say we have x plus 3 and then squared. So this was supposed to be squared here. It was supposed to be squared here because the equation have squared there. Sorry. And then we have let's say the graph is shifted 2 units. Okay, so with the vertical shift we only focus on this value. We only focus on this value. So when it's plus, the graph is shifted up, so which means it's 2 units up. And then when we have y equaling x plus 3 squared minus 2, when it's negative, the graph is shifted down, so which means it's 2 units down. We don't change the x coordinate. We just leave it the way it is. We focus only on these values. So meaning so it means with horizontal shift, changing of p results in a horizontal shift, and then changing of q result in a vertical shift. So for example, in our equation, the equation looks like x plus p squared plus q. So what we're saying here is changing p results in a horizontal shift, meaning when we change p, this one, it's a horizontal shift. When we change this one, it's a vertical shift. So it's like this is horizontal, this is vertical. Horizontal, it's left, right. Vertical, it's up, down. Okay, and then now we're gonna look at the turning points. So the turning point is the point where the graph of the parabola turn. Like this is the this is the turning point. And also we have, if it's concave down, it's the arms are down. This is our turning point. So we're gonna determine the turning point using our equation. So let's use the same functions. So we have x plus 3 squared plus 2, and then we have y x plus this is x minus 3 minus 2. So in this case, so our turning points here are the value of turning point. Let me write it this way. TP is the value of P and the value of Q. These are our turning point. So in this equation, our turning point is, if we move 3 units to the left, which means we can write this in like this. We can say this is x is equals to 0, so x is equals to -3, meaning turning point here is -3 for x, and then this one is positive, it's 2. Okay, and then for this one, our turning point is x minus 3 equaling 0. X is equals to 3. So turning point is 3, and then here we have -2. It's 2. So I made 2 examples here so that you can get the idea of what is how to describe the shift and how to also state the turning point. So in these 2 examples, we're gonna state the turning point, and then we're gonna also describe the shift. So our turning point here is turning point is -2 and -4. Remember, we have to remember the idea, get the idea that we have to say x plus 2 is equals to 0, and then x is equals to, we transpose 2 to that side, we transpose this 2 to that side, so we have -2. So that's why we have -2 here. This is our turning point. And then our shift, as I said, that when we add the value to the x, then we are moving to the left. So it's gonna be 2 units to the left, and then this one is negative, so which means it's 4 units down. Okay, and then this side, remember I said when we subtract the value to x, we're moving to the right, so it's, then we're gonna say x minus 4 equaling 0, and then we transpose equals to 4. Well, then let's start by finding the turning point. So our turning point is 4, and then we have negative here, so which means it's -9. So this is our turning point, and then the shift, we're moving to the right, so it's 4 units right, and then 9 units down. Okay, so to see if you understand the idea, I would like you to do this activity in pairs, so you can okay, or in groups of 3. So, and then you can compare your answers with your peers. So you're gonna do this activity. So on this activity, you have to state the turning point and describe the shift of all these functions.